give up, do not 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 give up, do not. Let's not fall. We're doing good in due time. We'll reap the harvest if we do not give up. Therefore be steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing it is not in vain. Do not give up, 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 do not give up. Away, away, do not give up. Away, do not give up. The harvest is coming.
Hi everyone, this is Sarah from Japan and welcome back to another prophetic read-along. Today we are reading out of the book of Lamentations. Okay, Lamentations is a continuum of Jeremiah the prophet. Okay, Jeremiah the prophet, after he wrote the book of Jeremiah, he wrote the book of Lamentations. Okay, and as you can tell by the name, it's not a fun and cheery book. Okay, he's lamenting, and he was very much saddened over the destruction of Jerusalem. Okay, so let's read the introduction to Lamentations, okay, out of the King James Bible here. Okay, so here are the comments on Lamentations. Okay, Jeremiah was extremely sorrowful over the destruction of the temple in the city of Jerusalem. He had prophesied of the coming doom in an attempt to warn the people, but due to their sin and wickedness, God had given them over to the enemy. A large portion of the people were deported to Babylon, with only a remnant left in Judah, including Jeremiah. Lamentations is considered to be a funeral dirge over the destruction of Jerusalem, basically written as acrostics. Okay? In an acrostic, each verse begins with a consecutive letter of the Hebrew alphabet, going from the first to the last. There are 5 poems in Lamentations, and in the first chapters 1, 2, and 4, there are 22 verses, 1 for each letter of the alphabet. In chapter 3, there are 3 verses for each letter, making a total of 66 verses. Pardon me. The 5th chapter has 22 verses, but they are not in alphabetical order. The first lament, okay, chapter 1. Jeremiah, brokenhearted over the events that have taken place, feels deserted and alone. The nation is in captivity, punished for her sin, and judgment from God has come. The prophet weeps with unconsolable grief. The second lament, chapter 2. Jeremiah views the destruction of Jerusalem as an outpouring of God's wrath. The once beautiful Jerusalem, God's chosen city with a unique ministry, is now a ruin where suffering, starvation, and death is evident. The God who had shown them so much love and mercy has not allowed them to view them his wrath, for God is both a God of love and wrath. The third lament, chapter 3. The agony of the entire nation is brought into perspective with personal experiences for the prophet Jeremiah. Because of the desperate and despairing situation, Jeremiah feels crushed and desires to see death. Okay, life is dark at this point, that it seems God has covered himself with a cloud so that prayer cannot get through. Have you ever felt like that, where you're praying and it feels like your prayers are not getting through? Like he can't hear you, or he's not listening, or he's not even there? Well, this is definitely how Jeremiah felt, okay? So, alright. Jeremiah, this is in verse 44. Jeremiah realizes that God is justified in his actions of judgment. God is justified in his actions, okay? When he judges us, when he finally does judge us, when he does show his wrath, he's justified, okay? For the people deserve the punishment. The fourth lament, chapter 4. In this lament is described the terrible and horrendous actions of the people as a result of the siege by the Babylonians. Pain and starvation were prevalent through the city as the cries of starving children were heard. Women even boiled their babies for food. Ooh, yuck. Okay, that's chapter 2, verse 20, and chapter 4, verse 10. The sins of the people and the priests had truly brought the city down to a despicable level. Edom, the old-time enemy of the nation, gloated over the destruction of Jerusalem, unaware of the impending punishment that would befall her as well. Now we read this in the book of Jeremiah as well, in book like 47 and 47 through 50, where, the nations that rejoiced over Israel's fall were being punished next. Okay, so, the Lord says that I will bless those who bless Israel, and I will curse those who curse Israel. So look out, don't be cursing Israel. The fifth lament, chapter 5. The defeat of the nation had suffered is depicted in this chapter. Their loss of freedom, property, self-respect, and other things are also portrayed in this last lament. Because of their sin, the nation suffered greatly. Besides forced labor and near starvation, other types of cruelty were evident, including rape. The last part of this book is a prayer and a plea for divine mercy and for a faithful remnant to restore the kingdom. After the captivity, the city was rebuilt, and by the time of Christ, Jerusalem had once again become a powerful city. But then, once again, sin abounded and was climaxed in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, the beloved Son of God. Then followed the eradication and destruction of Jerusalem by the Roman armies in 70 A.D. The prophet Jeremiah grieved over the destruction of Jerusalem, prayed for the restoration of the blessed city. Jerusalem will once again be great and eternally important in the age to come. Amen. Okay, so now let's look at the book of Jeremiah. The book of Lamentations, chapter 1. Okay, so Lamentations, chapter 1. Sorrow over Jerusalem's desolate state. How doth the city sit solitary, that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations, and the princess among the provinces. How is she become tributary? She weepeth sore in her night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers she has none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of the affliction, because of the great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She finds no rest. All of her persecutors overtook her between the straits. The way of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper, for the Lord has afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. And from the daughter of Zion all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture. And they are gone. Okay, harts are like deer. It's another word for deer. Heart, as in H-A-R-T, not H-E-A-R-T. H-A-R-T. It's an old word for deer. Okay? So, and from the daughters of Zion all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture. They are gone without strength before the pursuer. Jerusalem's past memories, verse 7. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things which she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversaries saw her and did mock her at her Sabbaths. Jerusalem has grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. She has grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. Okay? So if the Lord does this to his holy city, to his chosen people, imagine the wrath that's going to come on, somewhere, like a nation that says they were founded on God and then turn their backs on him. Okay, like the United States. Okay? So, verse 8, Jerusalem has grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. Yea, she sigheth and turns backwards. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembereth not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy has magnified himself. The adversary has spread out his hand upon all of her pleasant things, for she has seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, who thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. All her people sigh, they seek bread, and they have given their pleasant things for meat, to relieve the soul. See, O Lord, and consider, for I am vile. Jerusalem's sorrows, judgment. Is it nothing to you, all ye that pass by? Behold, and see if there be any sorrow like unto my sorrow, which is done unto me, wherewith the Lord has afflicted me in the days of his fierce anger. From above he has sent fire into my bones, and it prevails against them. He has spread a net for my feet. He has turned me back. He has made me desolate and faint all in the day. The yoke of my transgression is bound by his hand. They are wreathed and come upon my neck. He has made my strength to fall. The Lord has delivered me into their hands, for whom I am not able to rise up. The Lord hath trodden underfoot all my mighty men in the midst of me. He has called an assembly against me to crush my young men. The Lord has trodden the virgin of the daughter of Judah as in a winepress. Okay, for these things I weep. Mine eye runneth down with water. It's crying. Okay, because the Comforter that should relieve my soul is far from me. The Comforter. Who is the Comforter? The Lord is the Comforter, and he is far from him. Okay? That should relieve my soul is far from me. My children are desolate because the enemy prevailed. Zion spreads forth her hands, and there is none to comfort her. The Lord has commanded concerning Jacob that his adversaries should be round about him. Jerusalem is as a menstruous woman among them. The Lord is righteous, for I have rebelled against his commandment. Hear, I pray you, all people, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. My priests and my elders gave up the ghosts in the city. Okay? While they sought their meat to relieve their souls. Jeremiah's distress, verse 20. Behold, O Lord, I am in distress. My bowels are troubled. His bowels are troubled. My heart is turned within me, for I have grievously rebelled. Abroad the sword bereaveth. At home there is as death. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me, for all my transgressions. For my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. Okay, so that concludes the book, the first chapter of Lamentations. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, I got 7 more minutes, I guess. Can read on to chapter 3, I guess. So let's read on through chapter, well, actually, I'm going to come back later, okay, when I can do this. I want to try this video out because it's, I'm messing around with the special effects and stuff like that. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed the read-along, and I will have more to come in the near future. I bless you all in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. If you have a prayer request, please let me know. Okay, in the meantime, I will see you later. I'm out. Goodbye.